On day 4, Jonathan decided to go back to the area that we had seen the elk come out of the alfalfa fields, hoping they would cut through where we were hunting. I decided to go to the tree stand and see if an elk would cut through there. And with the heat and being a little tired, I might have nodded off in the tree stand a little bit, but I'm pretty sure nothing came by while I was asleep. I hope not, at least. Well, I woke up from my cat nap, and it was a good thing I was strapped in with a hunter safety vest, and I decided to let out a few cow calls. So I let out a little short couple cow calls, sounded good, and I just sat back. Within 5 minutes, a young bull shows up, a 5x5, and you could tell he's looking for a cow. It was almost like he's looking around going, I was pretty sure I heard a cow in this meadow, but I don't see her. And he milled around a little bit. I'm excited, just hoping he's gonna come past me, but the bull turns and starts to leave. This is where a lot of inexperienced elk hunters make their mistake. A lot of people would be tempted to call that elk right then. As soon as he turned, it started going away. But I knew as close proximity as we were, since elk can pinpoint a sound exactly where it came from, so can a turkey, so can coyotes, bobcats, a lot of animals have that ability. I knew if I called while he was too close, he would know something wasn't right, he couldn't see an elk, and he'd probably continue to leave, or it would spook him. So I let that elk get almost 200 yards away before I gave a couple soft calls that I kind of turned my head and tried to throw him the opposite direction. Almost immediately, the bull turns on a dime and starts walking right back at me. So now I'm super excited. Again, it's that emotional roller coaster. When I first saw the bull, I was super excited. When the bull turned to leave, I was kind of bummed out. Then I cow called and the bull started to come back. So now I'm excited again. I've got the recurve, I've got the little GoPro going on my head, and I'm watching this bull coming. You can see the bull's walking around like, I just don't see this cow. And as he's walking past, it was just one of those shots where if I'd used my Leupold rangefinder, honestly, I probably wouldn't have taken it. But it just felt right. I drew back, I dropped the string, and the bull was already slightly cornering away. He started to drop a little more, and I caught him, a couple ribs in front of the last rib, angling forward. As soon as it hit, I knew it was a good shot.
Whoa, first shot with the new recurve. I mean, first shot. Turned him around with the cow call. Literally day 4 of a 5-day hunt. And I was like, that's all right, it's probably not gonna happen. Haven't seen much. Weather's been hot, 100 degrees. The wind was swirling, and he caught a little bit of our scent this morning. He was like cruising through this meadow, and you could see he was like, something's not right. I hope you got that, because he was acting like, you could hear his feet kicking rocks. He would turn, and then he'd turn around like he wanted to go over here, and he was like, come out. That is where a friggin' call can make all the difference in the world. Here's the biggest mistake people make when calling, is they call when the elk's too close, and it's hard to do, but I had to let that elk go. I had to let him go 100, 200, almost 200 yards. I had to let that elk get up in the trees before I called, because had I called while he was close, they can pinpoint exactly where that sound comes from. He would have looked over here and gone, no elk. There's no elk there. Something's not right, because they can see, and he knew he should have been able to see it. But by letting him get up there a couple 100 yards, when I cow called, he believed that there was an elk somewhere, turned and came back looking, and that made all the difference in the world. That is so freaking awesome. Usually with a recurve, I like to keep my shots close, 20 yards and under, but there are times if you practice and you're comfortable on the shot, you can make it happen. And you'll see that bull, I think, was slightly quartering, so I literally picked a spot a touch back, and it looked to me like it came out right near the crease of the shoulder. So I'm gonna tell you, what's even cooler to me about that is literally, I mean, Fred Bear was a mentor of mine. I grew up reading Fred Bear's Field Notes, and you know, the Fred Bear, you know, I think it was the American Sportsman on Kirk Gowdy was one of the hosts, and to be able to help design a bear recurve with Fred's original latch system, that to me is pretty cool. And I actually worked in the Fred Bear Museum, which was amazing for me because I got to look at all of Fred Bear's mounts every day, and I got to put mineral oil on the noses of his elk and his moose and his bear from all over the world. So pretty dang cool to be sitting up here in a tree stand with a bear recurve that I had a hand in designing. So pretty dang cool that the very first shot, literally first shot out of my prototype, well, this is what's really cool for me is that my very first shot, this is the finished bow, the first one off the line. Like literally they were like, here you go, very first one. You've been through 4 prototypes and this is our finished model. The president of Bear, Jonathan, literally sent me this bow. I got it 2 days before I left on this trip. I got it dialed in, took it, and that is the first shot I've taken on an animal with it. Rocky Mountain elk in Oregon. Can't beat that.
I am on cloud 9. The very first arrow I have shot out of my brand new bear recurve that I helped design, I just shot an elk with. So I'm ecstatic. I'm excited to get my hands on this bull, and we walk in there and the bull is not where I thought it should be lying. So I'm like, cut the camera. We need to find my elk. Like, let's find the elk. So everything gets serious and we're looking for blood and trailing and like trying to figure out where this bull is. Well, ends up the bull went further than I thought. So it took a few circles before I found the bull. And then it was awesome because then I started yelling, I got him! And everybody converges on me and my elk is laying down underneath some trees. Thank you for coming up to hear me yelling. I was like screaming like, I found him! I was pretty dang excited. Randy was cutting down at the bottom there. So we kind of gridded this whole thing up. I thought I would find this bull like that. Here's the shot that I put on him. You can see it hit right here, which we could see on camera, but we've got to see on the other side. So that went all the way through, came out behind the shoulder here, but I'm going to pull this out from here. And that is the arrow that went completely through, but we could actually see that on video, which was kind of cool. Well, here's the beautiful bull. We set him up so you could see him a little better. Just a beautiful 5x5 here in Oregon, a Rocky Mountain elk, and pretty dang excited. The shot was a little further than I like to shoot, but I felt confident in the shot. I've been taking some longer practice shots, and I thought it was about 45 yards. We ranged it, and it was 39 yards, but you could see the penetration. The bull started to drop and turn just a little bit. The bull was quartered when I shot, even a little bit, slightly quartering away, and it angled all the way through and was poking out the other side. But all's well that ends well. It's warm here in Oregon, and I did not want to wait and you know, let him sit out here in this heat. So then the next step was for me to get all the amazing meat off this elk and get it to a cooler. Well, we put the meat in the cooler, let it sit, and then it was time for me to do some work so I could get some elk meat back home to Colorado.